Welcome, it's Dan. Hope you're well. In today's podcast, I want to talk about self-doubt, lack of confidence, no certainty, how all that stuff kind of stops us in our tracks and stops us from getting exactly what we want. And it's like, well, how do you get over that? How do you build confidence when you have no confidence? How do you get over self-doubt when so far you haven't hit the results that you want to hit? And it's like, it's a muscle. If you think about a muscle works better when it's worked, when it's practiced upon. When I go to CrossFit and I'm getting stronger and I'm getting bigger, I'm not doing that because I'm not taking the action and doing the work. I'm doing that, i.e., getting stronger, because I am actually doing the work and putting the effort in. And also, it requires a certain level of ignorance to some extent, where you're so pig ignorant about what you can't do, you just go and do it anyway. We call that the Forrest Gump effect. He just ran because that's what he wanted to do. When nobody told him that he couldn't go and do something, he just went and did it, and therefore he went and did it. Whereas, especially when you're intelligent, you kind of overthink this type of thing, and you think, oh, I need to be more intellectual about things, instead of just going out and going and doing the actual things that you know that you need to go out and get done effectively. And confidence is a really weird one, because it's like you learn the lesson first and then you get confident. You don't get confident and then learn the lesson, which is really rubbish. And you only grow after the event. You don't grow before the event. If I want to go again to the gym and lift some weights, I'm not growing before the event. I have to go and actually do the work, maybe make some mistakes and get the learnings, and then and only then am I actually growing. And it's the same out there in the big wide world. When you're trying to launch a business, you don't have a successful business on day one, day 365. 3 years in, some people are still struggling to make their business profitable, and eventually you get profitable businesses, and then something happens over there, completely nothing to do with you, and your business tanks, and it's like, oh, it's me, it's all on me. And it then creates more self-doubt. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You got to go out and do the tasks that you've assigned, the time management that you've assigned yourself. You got to go and do the things that you've identified that are probably, and think about this, it's all probably, it's all probabilities. It's all more than likely that if you do this, you'll get this result. But if you do that, doesn't mean you'll get that result. It's just more than likely. It's less like if you don't do any action at all that you'll be successful. It's more likely if you take the action that you will be successful, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to be successful. So you actually have to go and do the work, and sometimes that doesn't work. Okay, you don't get the result that you want, and then you have to adapt and change and do different things until you keep on getting the result. And then sometimes what happens is you don't get the result that you want, so you change the thing that you were doing, and then your results get even worse. And it's because you shouldn't have actually changed it. If you've identified, for example, okay, I'm going to live stream every single day, and your views are not going up, do you think your views will increase if you stop live streaming? Of course not. But you have no other choice. You have to go out there and create the content. That's the way in which you get the lessons and the learnings, and we get more confident. We've had, I think, coming up to 2 million views in the last 7 days on YouTube. It took us like 19 years to get 1 million views on YouTube, but in the last 7 days we've had 2 extra million views. And it's because we just never gave up. The lessons that we learned from all those other podcasts and all those other live streams and all those little videos and all that stuff and all that work that we've done, all has built up to us getting the realization as to what we actually need to do in order to get those results. And we could have stopped a week ago. We could have stopped a month ago. And, and digging for gold, and we stopped 3 feet from the gold. It's like, no, you got to keep digging. And, it's very challenging, because sometimes it's like, well, what if I'm not digging in the right place and I'm just digging and just doing a lot of work? But actually, I'm never going to get those results because there's no gold there. Well, that's part of the journey as well, I'm sorry to say. If there is no right or wrong answer, it's like when we take on a client and they say, oh, I just want leads. I just want good quality leads. That's all I want to speak to is people ready to buy. And it's like, yeah, wouldn't we all love to be able to be in that position? That's not how that works. I wish it was, but it's just simply not how that works. We have to go through and get all sorts of different leads, and then filter those leads and find those people who actually want to do work and do business with us and come and join our little group of merry men where we're helping them market their business. It takes time and it takes effort and all the rest of it. There's no such thing as just running some ads and just getting leads and not having to deal with anybody else. But They don't know that. And it's only when they actually sign up and go through running Facebook ads or creating lots of content that they get all this extra stuff as well. And they're like, oh, I get it now. I have to filter these leads and I have to follow up with these leads. Nobody's just sat there going, oh my gosh, Dan's run an advert. I better run to the computer and get my credit card out and sign up. It just doesn't work like that. It might do if you're selling mugs or cups or a phone or something like that. But in service style businesses, it just doesn't work like that. And so the confidence, that only comes from lots and lots and lots of action. And usually that action is wrong action. Usually you're putting lots of action out there and you're not getting the results that you wanted. That is gold dust. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly why you put out all of that work, because you've got to realize what actually doesn't work. And then you'll realize, in knowing what doesn't work, you'll actually then identify some of the stuff that does work, and then you can go and do more of the stuff that works. But you can only do that once you've gone through it. That's why you don't get the confidence at the start. You only get the confidence at the end, because you've gone through this massive journey of learning what works, what doesn't, and what you need to do, and how to adapt, and all of those good things. And one of the problems I think with this is that as humans, we tend to overthink things, and we go, oh, well, I'm not going to waste my time on this because my time's very limited, which is true for all of us. So I'm just going to go do this. And it's like, no, but you have to do that. It's like, think about this. If you want to run a marathon, I'm not going to waste my time training. I'm just going to do the marathon. You're not going to finish the marathon. You have to do the training. Yeah, but the training takes weeks and days and months and years sometimes. Yes, that's the learnings. That's where you build the confidence. That's where your self-doubt is removed. We did some lifts yesterday, and it was sandbag cleans, 45 kilos up and onto the shoulder, and then we were doing rope climbs as well. And it's like, it's quite a hard thing to do. 6 sandbag cleans, 3 rope climbs, 6 sandbag cleans, 3 rope. It's really difficult to do. But I wasn't challenged by that, because I actually did that last week in training, and I was looking forward to that. And everyone else is pulling face and going, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard. And I was like, this is awesome. I'm fully practiced. I'm ready for this. Lifted the sandbag, shot up the rope, lifted the sandbag, shot up the rope. But still, it was challenging, but it wasn't overwhelming. And it's because I've already done the work. And too many people are overthinking. No, I just want to lift the sandbags and climb the rope during the event. No, you have to do it in training. This is where all the learning comes. This is part of that journey. And if you're not wanting to do this initial part, you're not going to learn the lesson, because the lesson comes after all the training and the actual event that you're doing. The learnings come from you being at the bottom in your business and working your way up. In having 10 potential sales calls and not closing a single person is part of the process to you having a successful business. But of course, we're overthinking it, and we're like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you. You're going through the process, and you're adapting it and refining it as you go through it, and eventually it will click. And when it clicks, then your business is going to take off. But you have to go through this process first. So certainty never appears beforehand. It only appears after you've made a ton of mistakes, and you're starting to now start getting some successes. But everybody wants for certainty first. And we say this, you get paid twice in this world. The first is in the lesson, and the second is in money. Everybody wants for money. Nobody wants for lesson. Trust me on this. Go through, do the work that you said you were going to go do. Go and do it, keep on doing it, and start learning some of these lessons. Some of these lessons are hard to learn, by the way. They're not easy lessons, and they'll stay with you for years. But this is part and parcel of it. This is what will take you through the journey into having a success in whatever that success is for you, in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your health, and so on. Hope that's useful. Very quick one today, but a good one. And let me know what you think, and we'll speak